You might think your life is tragic because you haven't had your first kiss at age 19. Well, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but the only woman I could pull at 19 was my mom. Well, now that I've accidentally blurted out my sorry life to all the people of the internet, comparing these scenarios, these guys in this anime have it much, much worse. They were suddenly summoned into a game, this being a proper isekai generic plot. Yet, the tea in the cup is the players finding out they can't log out as each death in the game became realer than the Rock's hair genes. Despite the odds, one dude who thinks he's Batman takes it upon himself to end the game by defeating all monsters and the final boss. Apparently, Shin is a hot-headed, badass fighter dressed in the devil's cloak, and also wields a low-budget Excalibur called the Moonlight Blade. All right, you caught me. It's not low budget. I'm just a hating critic man. Shin successfully defeats the final boss, making it possible for every player to log out, except one, who turns out to be himself. What he gets is a new gate that actually teleports him into the real isekai world, with incredible rise in stats, and no Wi-Fi access for eternity. Soon, Shin makes his way back to his adventuring guild, where he completes his first task of saving a damsel in distress. Permit me to add, Tiara is waifu material, with huge, perfectly round buns. She wonders what Shin's relationship with Mistress Schnee is, seeing he called the mistress's shop his home when he arrived. And in that moment, Shin's description of Schnee had me rolling. Among their many conversations, it is revealed that 1. Schnee was formerly Shin's support character in the game. 2. Shin has developed unique abilities that are on the same level with the king and elders. And 3. It turns out Shin was teleported to a reality that's 500 years after the sudden disappearance of the human players. Don't think Tiara was lectured about not trusting strangers, because the next thing she does is to give Shin the tea about her miserable life and how she's a cursed, banished elf due to her dark hair color. Thanks to Shin's new skills, he breaks the curse, which only changes a portion of her hair to the original. And for the first time in 100 years, Tiara steps out of her mistress' cabin without being attacked by monsters. To show appreciation, she gives Shin a quick pass that'll sneak his toes into the next kingdom where he plans to search for answers. It's not a proper isekai plot if it doesn't lead him to the desk of other damsels, Celisa and Celisa. These ones, however, are human, but with creepy smiles I would totally wank off the plank for. Soon, Shin meets the audience of Barlux the Guildmaster, thanks to the pass from Tiara. After testing its authenticity by putting his card next to Shin's, Barlux explains that the pass card is a very powerful and unique item. Therefore, its owner must guard it carefully. The next day, Shin is given his adventurer card, and with all that stat, blood ends up at rank G, the bottom of the food chain. Bikini bottom. The isekai protagonists do not know what it means to kick off their shoes and rest in a new world. Cause why does Shin choose to duel a level 359 low-budget overlord Skullface on his first day? Nevertheless, he wins effortlessly, and Skullface's unique sword swings into the air and crashes into the royal castle. This is inspected by Lady Rion, aka Massive Twin Fountains. Well, thanks to the boy enters a new world and pulls all the pretty waifus plot for this gorgeousness. Soon, it's revealed that Skullface's appearance has caused an uproar in the city, being rumored to be a ruthless killer who is exceptionally hard to defeat. Shin returns to the guild to report his first job and Skullface's gem to Cecilia and Els the elf. Of course, the whole story seems unbelievable for a G-rank adventurer, and the girls wish to inspect the gem to confirm Shin's story while he deals with other situations. By other situations, I'm talking about the dark and cold entrance of Wilhelm, who is popularly known for three things: a vampire, the defeater of the undead, and the wielder of a cursed weapon that sucks the life force of its victims. His presence stirs fear in the heart of every man in the room. Well, all except Shin, who actually engages him in conversation. Later on, the guild's council holds a meeting regarding the ongoing crisis. While Shin's identity as the slayer of Skullface is kept a secret, it's revealed that Skullface's unique blade, which crashed into the castle, is no coincidence, as the weapon shares similarities with the king's blade. Scary moments lie ahead for the kingdom. Meanwhile, Shin is more concerned with meeting females. This time around, he encounters Millie, a young half-beast girl who happens to be under Wilhelm's care. Millie informs Shin about a young fox that needs saving in the same northern forest where Skullface was seen. Talk about suicide mission. Yet, a reckless isekai protagonist heads into the northern woods with little to no concern for the eerie atmosphere. After walking what seemed like an eternity, he finds an ancient shrine and the weakened little fox, which he heals. Unfortunately, this rescue mission is soon interrupted by the evil lurking in the dark. Shin is faced against an army of the undead, but luckily, he defeats them with a single strike. Just when he thought the fight was over, he faces a new evil as the twin fox statues in the shrine come to life. On each side stands two high-leveled golems of ice and fire, ready to split Shin's groin in half, but not in the way that you think. The foxes are swift in attack strikes, and it turns out they can also perform shadow techniques that can go band for band with Megumi's iconic domain expansion. When Shin was done playing tag, he sets the little fox in a protective magic circle and launches his final attack on the foxes. The overpowered protagonist strike obliterates them in an instant, and that's minus infinity aura for the wannabe dogs. Shin, on the other hand, gets to go home with the little fox, who turns out to be a legendary, powerful creature. Elementale. Finding an Elementale is as rare as seeing me cuddled with a woman. Which is why Shin forms a contract to hide the creature's stats and gives it the name Yuzuha. The new partners are to take their first job together when Yuzuha calls Shin's attention to an unranked kind from the church next to the orphanage. Shin takes the job as an opportunity to see Millie and give the tea about the little fox's rescue. Soon, Shin arrives at the cathedral and asks of Millie's whereabouts from the nun, Tria. What he gets at first is a cold response, till Millie comes running to him with big smiles. This simply indicates that he's not into some Boku no Pico shit, which is a relief. Tria reveals the job offer is for a skill holder. Turns out skill holders become a rare occurrence in this reality since the spontaneous disappearance of players. To sum it up, Tria wishes to learn the purification spell, and Shin happens to be the perfect senpai. However, Shin is not interested in monetary compensation. In exchange, he wishes to get intel about the church's activities and Millie's power. Tria is skeptical about this. Unlike Tierra, who blurted out her life's problems without the question being asked. Only when Millie gives the go-ahead that Shin can be trusted is when Tria begins talking. It is revealed that Millie is a star composer who can see unexpected visions. In other words, she's able to predict accurate futures, but her powers are too great to be revealed to just anybody, which is why Wilhelm was employed to scare the predators away. Later on, Shin gets the tea behind Tria's job offer from the orphaned kids. It's revealed that the church currently has no priest, and the orphanage is about to be dissolved. Reason being that the next priest wishes to get rid of it for his selfish gain. Despite the odds against them, the nuns can save the orphanage if they provide a new priest who possesses a special skill, which is exactly why they need a skill holder. Shin meets the nun he'll be teaching the purification skill, Lacia, and it's so sad that there's nothing exciting about her, plus the fact that she looks dumb. Later that night, he gets invited by Wilhelm for a drink. Wilhelm suspects Shin is a human-born with heightened abilities, the chosen one. Shin doesn't give any info away, yet all he sees in Wilhelm is a nice dude trying to look out for the orphanage and kids, which is ironic considering his bad boy appearance. Kicking off their little bromance, the dudes discover they both have quick pass cards, ending the night in a thrill. Later that night, they head into the ghost plane for Lacia's training. According to the plan, Shin and Wilhelm are meant to weaken the high-level skull faces so Lacia can heal them till she attains purification. It's revealed that while the various battles in Ghost Plane goes on, a familiar face makes it to the fight. Shni struts like the badass she thinks she is, and instantly annihilates a skull-face monster, which a group of walking sausages struggle to fight. On the other side of the plains, Wilhelm weakens a high-leveled skull-face, enabling Lacia to attain the purification skill. Putting an end to their mini-victory is Yasuha's senses picking up a brewing danger. At the heart of the forest, magic matter from the undead combines to form a megazord similar to this junkie. The monster is huge, ugly, and a stunning level 804 that makes even Shin pee in his big boy pants. The monster aims for the barrier that separates Ghost Plane from the human territory, striking with a force that cracks it in one blow. The situation gets uglier than your ex when the monster sets its gaze on Lacia, Wilhelm, Shin, and orders an army of undead to attack. For the first time, Shin removes the limits on his powers and clears a path for Wilhelm to escape with Lacia. It's actually crazy that he hasn't been at his peak all along. And to make things even more interesting, Yasuha makes a fight debut with some insane foxfire after going at it severely. Shin checks his map and sees a swarm of undead approaching. Yet, what strikes his attention is a single blue dot, indicating an ally is close by. Shin goes closer to the dot, till he finally meets Shni after a very long time. Thanks to Yasuha's mini barrier, the two have their moment and seal the reunion with the warmest hug after 500 years. Not gonna lie, it feels like there was something intense between them with how heartfelt and beautiful this scene played out. When Yasuha's barrier wears off, the two end the fight like old times by casting a spell side by side. Their combined magic unveils a circle that engulfs every undead in the premises, including Big Ol' Ugly. Afterward, they sit on a rock to catch up on old times. Thankfully, Shni's memories are peak as she recalls details before and after the spontaneous disappearance of the human players. They conclude that Shni will address him as his real name instead of Master, and must prepare for his departure to the human world when he finds the solution to his long search. In other news, Yasuha is revealed to have extra tails after the fight, and is revealed to be an actual talking furball. Also, Lady Rion's search for the mysterious Skullface Slayer leads her to the aftermath of the Ghost Plane after Shin and Shni's victory.